Hello and welcome to Reddit Stories. I'm Shane, and it is the holiday season, which means we've got some holiday-themed Reddit stories for you today. And I am joined by two people who are bringing the holiday spirit, Trevor and Arasha.
Two ho-ho-hos.
That's right.
Ho-ho-hos, that's right.
Wow, Trevor, really cool sweater that you wore today.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So he's defecating down the chimney.
I think we're gonna have to blur this,
Santa
right?
Claus.
We can't show Santa's crackless ass.
Well, I believe his ass is firmly planted in the chimney,
Yeah.
it seems. There's a lot to unpack here, but we don't have to do that right now.
The holiday season can be a time for a lot of drama for a lot of people.
Yeah?
Have you ever dealt with holiday drama?
I know I have.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I bet.
I think
Talked it
I've
out.
gotten pretty lucky.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't think there's been too much holiday drama for me.
I feel like when you have families involved, especially like extended families, and then you bring in like significant others,
Yeah.
then you've got like a whole load of people and emotions are high, people are getting presents for each other. I feel like you're like asking for drama just with the season.
That's kind of true.
Yeah,
Only kind of.
only kind of.
Well, let's see. We've got a bunch of stories here. This first one comes from Best of Redditor Updates. Okay, my boyfriend, who's 22, gave a handmade Christmas present to his mother, 40-year-old woman, that I, 22-year-old woman, made.
Okay.
My boyfriend gave a handmade Christmas present to his mother that I made.
Oh, okay, so a little past the present to the
Yeah,
mom.
taking ownership of something she
Okay,
made.
okay.
Okay, I mean, let the girl in on it, but let's hear it.
I make really cool vases as a hobby. These can take weeks to complete and are always made with the giftee in mind. My mom, who's 50, and I have always been into nature together. We hike, we own animals, we eat outside if we can. I guess being into nature sounds weird. We just like being outside. So I made my mom a Siamese cat urn. It looks like a vase, but the top is the cat's ears. It is super cute, and I loved the way it turned out. No one died or anything, it was just the style of the piece. I had finished it and taken it to my apartment, wrapped it up, and been so excited about it. Well, my boyfriend's mother came over and he didn't get her a Christmas/birthday present. She loves cats, so he just gave her the piece I made, which she loved. My boyfriend does not live with me. He has his own apartment near his school. His mother came over before we went over for dinner to see my new kitten. She was in tears over how nice the present was, and I ruined it. I told her that the presents must have gotten mixed up. That was made for my mother. She got a bit upset, gave it back, then my boyfriend went out to dinner with her. He said it would be best if I didn't come. I guess she cried the whole way and he didn't have a present for her, so he looked like a bad son. I have trouble seeing where I am at fault. I understand that the nice thing would have been to remake a gift or let her just have it. However, it was one of my best pieces and I always give my mother art I make. She loves it. She shows it off to everyone. It is something she takes great pride in. She has one from every Christmas and I never miss a year. She even shows off the crappy lumps I made as a kid. My boyfriend wants to talk tomorrow. I am not sure if he is going to break up with me or if he wants to yell at me for it. I just need to know what people think. Was I a jerk? My boyfriend seems to think I was. I love this guy very much and really love his mom. She is super sweet and kind and never really gets nice things. I still don't think it is my job to cover for his lack of foresight. Her birthday comes every year on the same day. It's not like it surprised him. I got her a card and a book, which I thought was nice. She thanked me for them later over text, but she seemed really sad about the cat vase. I guess she was hoping I either made her something or my boyfriend actually got her something she really liked. She loves cats and he has never gotten her anything cat themed. It is always some cooking supplies or an apron, which means he sucks at presents. Damn. So I'm just not sure what to think. Does anyone have any idea what to do in this situation?
Wow. My thoughts exactly.
Yeah.
Couldn't have said it better.
Santa's watching, okay?
Yeah.
Santa's watching.
And he deserves a whole bunch of coal.
Yeah.
Looking like a bad son, he is a bad son.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's a terrible son. Not terrible, but yeah, I mean.
He's a terrible boyfriend.
Yeah, that's so weird.
It is kind of a double whammy. You're a bad son and a bad boyfriend in the same time.
Yeah, so
Like,
go
you need
home.
You need to own up to it.
Yeah.
You need to, or you, frankly, you could lie in this situation and be like, oh shoot, my gift for you is on the way.
Classic.
Like,
Yeah.
frankly, classic.
Yeah.
That way you're trying to not hurt their feelings, but you did mess up. But at least you can do that. Don't take something that your girlfriend spent weeks making and pass it off as your own.
No.
And then get mad at her when she's like, no, I made this for my mom.
Right, right. It's clearly like it was on him for poor planning. Like, of course, everybody forgets gifts or like slips up. That's not why he's a terrible son. But it definitely is like, if you knew that your mom liked cats, if she's coming, she wants a present, like all of those things could have lined up with him. I think the part that sat with me like the most uncomfortable was the fact that she used the language of like, I don't know if he's gonna either break up with me or yell at me. If you're in a relationship where you're worried if the other person is gonna yell at you, like nobody deserves to be yelled at, ever.
The dynamic seems a little weird. Her also like, she seems to be someone who puts a lot of blame on herself because earlier she's like, I know the nice thing would have been to let him take it and do this. I'm like, I don't know if that's the nice thing. Like that, I don't think that's nice to do. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel bad for the girl in whatever she's gone through or whatever situation, that she would feel guilty in any way through all of this, or like she's at fault in any way. Like she made her mother an insanely nice gift, and it seems like she also like really cares about this guy's mom and respects her, and like she wasn't being mean at all by taking the gift back. Like, I don't know. The fact that she feels guilty or like she might be in the wrong, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's almost like if she were to do that, it could certainly be in some way an act of kindness, but you don't need to force that sacrifice or feel bad for not following through on it. Like that is, that's not her responsibility.
She doesn't need to feel bad about what she did. This is on him. Side note, she spent like 2 paragraphs giving us exposition on how she and her mom love nature, only to lead into her talking about a gift that is a Siamese cat urn.
I noticed that too.
Completely unrelated.
I was like, well, there's cats in nature.
But
no, I love it. I love it.
Hey, I know you really love cats. I know you're a huge fan of cats. Here's The Matrix on Blu-ray.
Yeah, I love too that she was like, nobody died, but it was an urn.
It was an urn. Like, okay.
Right.
My mom really loves dead cats, so I got her a Siamese cat urn. I feel so bad for the boyfriend's mom. She just wants a gift, man. She just wants to be thought of.
Yeah.
And she thought she had that false hope for a moment of like, oh my gosh, you made me something so cool. And like, she's saying, oh, she probably thought that I made it for her and that meant something to her. But what I think could have been really thoughtful is if the boyfriend weeks before or months before went in and said, hey, you make such great stuff, can we make one for my mom?
Yeah.
Right.
You know, like that would have been great. Then that's a joint gift, like.
Right.
Yeah, imagine being
he didn't think about it.
And like years of just getting crappy presents from your son, and then finally you're like, oh my God, here's the thing that is so nice and so thoughtful, and then it turns out it wasn't actually for you and he didn't get you anything. That is
It's tough. It's super tough. And then on top of that, like relaying some sort of punishment onto his girlfriend, being like, I don't think you should come to
you don't come to dinner. I'm like, the dude?
Feed her.
Comments. I don't really have advice to give, but I want you to know that I think your actions were quite reasonable. Your boyfriend should not have taken the gift that you'd made specifically for your mother. It sucks that his mother was hurt, but I think if you'd let him get away with it, it would set a bad precedent. Good for you for standing up for yourself. If he decides to break up with you over this, it's due to his own flaws and immaturity. He could have asked you to make something for his mother or found something that she'd like, and he didn't. Don't apologize for your actions. If anything, he owes you a massive apology for trying to steal your mother's present and making you look like the bad guy to his mother.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Someone else said, to be honest, I'd dump him for giving away something that you'd made for your mom without consulting you and blaming you for the fallout it created. He could have asked you to make one for her. You're not a jerk, he is. Lastly, someone said, you did nothing wrong. You made something that you spent a lot of time and love on for your mother, and if he doesn't understand or respect that, then that's on him. While that sucks for his mom, that isn't your problem. You seem like a compassionate person, which is why you feel bad, but I think your boyfriend was expecting to use that in his favor, which isn't okay.
Definitely. That comment actually pointed out, you're right, like the sense of selfishness of being like, I need to give my mom this present, but completely disregarding what her mom would get.
Yeah.
Then what is she supposed to do?
And then there's the added layer of like, you do that, okay, you do that, which is shitty to do. But now that you've been caught, now that your girlfriend like handled the situation, you're gonna try to make her feel like the bad guy. You need to at least at that point be like,
yeah,
you gotta admit that you messed up.
Yeah.
You gotta take the L.
Which, maybe if we backed up to the beginning and this was like he confided in her, right? Like the day of maybe and being like, shit, I totally forgot a present. Is there anything you think that we could do or come up with? And she is obviously such a kind person. I bet that she would be like, let me see what we could scramble together. Like, let her in on this plan and work as a team.
But he truly seems like he did not think about his mom's birthday / Christmas until it was the moment of.
Yeah. Yeah.
What an awesome opportunity for the son, though, that in the aftermath be like, hey, I'm sorry, I was a dumbass, but I saw how much you like this thing and I feel really bad. Like, it's gonna be late, but I asked my girlfriend if we could make something similar together for you.
Yeah.
That's the good ending to this Christmas movie.
Right. Yeah.
But unfortunately,
Yeah.
what are you gonna do?
Update.
Let's find out!
Sorry.
We've met this person in a Christmas movie before.
Yeah, definitely. I want to thank everyone for all the help. A few people advised that I should have just let his mom have the gift. This is not something I was comfortable doing. I don't make art to sell. I make art to give to people who I love very much. So each piece has a lot of love in it. My now ex-boyfriend showed up around 4 p.m. and wanted to talk at me. He just told me he was disappointed and that he had taken a lot of sweet talking to make his mother understand what happened. He told her I mixed up the packages, but that I had one for her that I just needed to get. I told him I didn't have anything for her and that I was not going to be helping him out. He could go buy one for her and pass it off as handmade, but I was not covering for him. I told him I felt that his behavior was cruel to me, the effort I put into my art, and my mom, his mom, just everyone. He told me that he expected better. He would not apologize. He just kept getting angrier and angrier. He ended up grabbing a piece I made earlier this year. I was really proud of it. It was a mermaid on a rock. He said he would give this to her and that I could find a new boyfriend. I told him if he left with it, I would call the police. We weren't screaming, but we were both really angry. He slammed it back down on my table. He told me that he never wanted to see me again and I should call him when I grew the f*** up. I told him we were over, that he was no longer my boyfriend and I wanted nothing to do with him. I said he could take the clay back if he wanted, but I had already returned his Xbox to the store. He told me to keep the f***ing clay and he wouldn't have apologized if he knew I wasn't giving him the present. He called me a liar and said I had ruined his holiday. According to the dribble coming out of his mouth, his mom was really hurt and had left town early. He thought giving her a piece and shifting the blame to me for getting would make it better. I told him to just leave. So now I am single with a lot of clay and a lightly cracked mermaid statue. I am not sure how to feel about this, but Dobby is free.
Oh.
Insane reference there. Wow, so he really was like, he was locked in.
How many Reddit stories do we read where it's like a guy is just acting like a toddler, throwing the biggest tantrum and then being like, let me know when you want to grow up.
Yeah.
Like, that's absurd.
Literally exactly what I was gonna say. To tell her to grow up when he is being a baby.
Yeah. God. No, there's a lot of, I mean, look, by this point on Reddit stories, we've seen everything, like where there's proof that anyone can be a huge asshole. But the amount of boyfriends and husbands who treat their partner like so horribly, I'm blown away. The entitlement is kind of blowing my mind. It's pathetic.
It's really upsetting because the way that this the OP describes it in the beginning isn't even all that angry. She really confides in Reddit asking if she's in the wrong.
He definitely is upset that he doesn't have full control over her now. Like, that's what it seems like he was upset about. And now that he doesn't, he was just trying to guilt her throughout all of this. And then it kept failing and he got really mad and probably was thinking that by threatening breaking up with her, that she'd be like, no. But then she stood her ground, thank God.
Yeah.
And I think he's now gonna be like regretting it.
But that's what's so scary, right? Is when women do kind of have this stance of like, no, I am right, or I am following through with what I say. These men get so angry and are then like, well, then I'm taking this or I'm doing this. And in an effort to just get more aggressive, continue to place these meaningless threats that are just like, I don't know if that's actually like who he is as a person. Like, again, what you offered, I think would have been such a great resolve to just lean in with the vulnerability of like, hey, I messed up. But it's clear that zero part of him can actually admit that he did anything wrong.
I think it's really important in a relationship to recognize like, oh, I'm feeling really guilty. And then to kind of, when you're having those moments, being like, what is my partner's goal? Is it just to make me feel guilty? Or it's a good thing in your own self if you're saying something or doing something to your partner and going, what is my end goal here? Am I just trying to make them feel bad? Because if that's it, that takes that's a serious thing to acknowledge, both in other people or yourself. Because it's like, if you're getting to that place, that is nothing but pure manipulation at that point.
Yeah.
I read something a while ago that said, when you're fighting with your partner, when you're arguing, you shouldn't fight like you hate them. You should fight like you love them.
Yeah.
That way, in your dialogue, like, yes, of course, you can still be upset and share your feelings and put it out there, but you're doing it in a way that almost protects them. And you're like, I don't want to upset you, but I just am letting you in on what I'm feeling. And that way it shifts the words, it makes things come out a lot differently. And then people are susceptible to what you're saying. Nobody wants to listen to you if you're just insulting them or of course, if you're yelling at them.
Yeah. Well, in the case for her, and I mean, we have this one story, but in the case of so many people, they're not in a relationship, they have to wedge themselves or fit into this other person's life, right? And they're controlling you because it's like, no, I get to live my life and you have to change everything for me and accommodate me. And that's not a relationship. That's not how it should be. Well, I'm glad they broke up.
Yeah.
And it's been almost 10 years since that story, so.
Any more updates?
Yeah.
No more updates.
A 2025 update to
2024 update. He sucks.
He sucks, she's still doing pottery.
I made some great urns. Okay. Moving on to our next story. This one is more recent. This came from this past month.
Whoa.
Am I the asshole for telling my sister she's not allowed to bring her homemade food to Thanksgiving because her cooking is ruining the meal?
What?
Oh, devastating.
Ooh. Mac and cheese is not that hard.
Oh, God. It's hard to like make something that's bad. Like I've had a lot of underwhelming holiday foods, but I've not had bad.
Yeah. I mean, with Thanksgiving, though, I think there are certain dishes that people are so excited about that if you do let them down, I think you do get into bad territory. Like if the mashed potatoes aren't creamy, I'm upset.
Yeah.
But I'll get over it.
Okay, here we go. Every year, our family does a big Thanksgiving dinner, and we all typically bring a dish or two. My sister, who's a lovely person in every other way, insists on cooking something homemade every time. The issue? She's not a great cook. And I don't mean just not great. I mean she has somehow managed to turn classic dishes into borderline inedible creations. For context, last Thanksgiving, she showed up with her special recipe, stuffing that was over-seasoned with random spices like cinnamon and cardamom. It was dry and the flavors were confusing and totally off for stuffing. Only one person took a small bite and the rest went untouched. Another year, she brought a green bean casserole that had some kind of strange, chewy texture. She later admitted she used coconut milk and almond flour to experiment. No one wanted seconds of that either. This year, I'm hosting Thanksgiving. Since I'm responsible for putting it all together, I wanted to keep the menu consistent so that people could actually enjoy a cohesive meal. I thought I'd avoid drama by asking her to bring non-food items instead, like wine, soda, or even some flowers. I explained to her, very kindly I thought, that I just wanted to make things easy and streamlined and I'd handled the main dishes. But she didn't take it well. She got offended and told me I was being controlling and shutting her out of the family gathering. She then accused me of making her feel inadequate and said that Thanksgiving is about everyone contributing, not me deciding what's acceptable. I told her that everyone appreciates her effort, but that she could contribute in other ways and still be part of it. She doubled down and said she's bringing her famous green bean casserole, whether I like it or not. Now, my mom and a couple other family members have chimed in, saying I should just let her bring whatever she wants because it's Thanksgiving and it's the thought that counts. They're acting like I'm committing some huge offense by wanting the food to be enjoyable for everyone and not having random experimental dishes that no one will eat. but I feel like I'm just trying to keep the meal enjoyable and frankly edible. I don't think it's wrong to want guests to actually enjoy the food, especially since I'm putting in a lot of effort to host. Am I really being unreasonable here? Am I the asshole?
Okay, I blacked.
Oh, that's tough.
I blacked out after cardamom on stuffing because literally never
This
ever
lady
do
is just
that.
a culinary crimes.
Yeah, a walking crime.
Dude, I have so many thoughts because like I 100% respect like wanting to have the food be good. And I feel like the sister tried to handle it in such a kind way, being like, hey, like I'd love for you to maybe just like bring some other things. Like I'll handle cooking. Like that's such a gentle way of doing it.
Yeah.
But if she insists on bringing food, it's like, I don't know how serious of an issue it is, because who knows whose family, it could be a bigger deal. But if that were me, I'd just make a green bean casserole as well, and then like let people have whichever one they want.
Right.
And just be like, look.
To tell someone, don't cook.
Yeah.
Don't bring your food.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, I wouldn't be able to say that.
I don't
Yeah.
think so.
I wouldn't, especially because I'm like, this is one of those situations where I'm like, is it really hurting anyone that it's just gonna sit there and nobody's gonna eat it? Like,
Exactly. Did we, sorry, again, I blacked out. So did we miss, does she react in any way when things get untouched at the table?
she does not say whether she reacts, because you'd think
Yeah.
that you bring it a couple times and nobody's touching it, that you'd
You
go.
get the message,
But
yeah.
I don't think so. In fact, she refers to her green bean casserole as she's bringing her famous green bean
Her
casserole.
nobody
Her
green bean
coconut
casserole.
milk and almond flour green bean casserole.
her literally unknown casserole.
Mystery casserole.
So awesome.
What a baller.
So awesome, dude.
You see, yeah, I don't think I would really insist on managing that. I think I would also just be like, if it makes you happy, you bring it.
Yeah,
because
man.
it's not hurting anybody. It's just gonna sit there. I understand wanting to control the vibe, and the hospitality in me is, of course, saying that I only want really delicious and, in her words, edible things on the table. But I think if it makes somebody feel like they are contributing to the family and it is a much bigger deal to them, I think I would try to let that one go.
It's really hard because it's like, here's someone who's so excited to like do something for people.
Yeah.
And it's like heartbreaking that it's not good, but it's like, to tell someone, hey, don't contribute is
Yeah.
devastating. I know she's saying like, oh, I'm asking her to bring wine and soda and stuff, but I'm like, she wants to like make something and feel special. It's tough.
Yeah, if you try and let her off gentle and be like, hey, like I'm wanting to handle the food, like please, like be happy if you brought something else, like, and she insists on bringing something, like yeah, let her cook and bring something.
Let her
It's
cook.
like, who
I know I
cares,
would just
man?
let her cook.
Yeah, and it's like I think it's kind of sweet too that like she sucks. She sucks at cooking, but she's still trying. So I'm kind of like, okay, girly, like I am loving that for you. I
It's-
just would love it if your skills improved.
It's so funny to me because like, I'm just a very different type of cook. If I ever am cooking for like a party or like a gathering, I am finding a recipe online that has 5 stars and I just follow the recipe.
Follow it.
Because I'm like, all I'm trying to do is make something that I know a lot of people are gonna like.
Totally.
I'm all for experimenting, but I'm like, that's for me. Like, if I'm gonna experiment, only I'm gonna eat it.
Bring it
I'm
to
not trying to
Smosh.
experiment or bring it here and punish
Poison
people.
everybody.
But
Right.
to experiment to that degree when you're bringing it for other people is just bold.
Right.
It's bold unless you are a chef, like unless you know the theories and stuff. But adding cinnamon and cardamom to stuffing.
Yeah. I'm like the
interesting.
opposite
Why?
of this person. I'm convinced that everything I make is like really bad, even though I'm like good at cooking. Like that's kind of
That's
like
quite
what
literally
I,
your profession?
Yeah, it's quite literally like, that's what I do. And then like I make something and I'm like, this isn't gonna be good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I should give it to people.
Right. I feel like I'm conscious of that too. I make something and then I'll give it to somebody and stand there and be like, so you like it?
Yeah, you're interested, you like it.
So you're
You like-
interested,
you
so you're
like
gonna call
this,
me?
You're gonna eat it.
I'm definitely the same way. I cooked a couple things for Thanksgiving a couple years ago, and I made mac and cheese, and I found a recipe online. I was like, I need to find the best recipe that I know is going to be good, and even still, I was like, I hope this is good enough, But it was good.
Right,
It was good.
right. Yeah, I feel like that's happened before at like tables of like Friendsgiving and Thanksgiving and stuff. But I just feel like at the end of the day, like I just talk about it with my closer friends and I'm just like, yeah, that stuffing was disappointing, but we move on.
I almost wonder if she wanted to be sly and get away with this, is asking for a Thanksgiving dish that's kind of like an optional like side dish. Green bean casserole is almost there, but like something where it's like you don't necessarily need to have it to feel like you got the complete meal.
Yeah.
But like being like, oh, could you make a pie? Could you make a dessert? Like, we're gonna have several desserts, but could you make another one?
Totally.
Yeah. I think it'd be funny if she asked her to make it with her. Be like, hey, I'd love to like see how you make this and make it with you. And then like, maybe only buy the right ingredients.
Right.
Maybe like, I don't know. I
She,
just
like,
think
turns
like,
around
like
and
I
you're,
want to
like,
learn how you
spicing.
make it. That's what I would want to do. I'd want to see how it's done.
That's some crazy experimentation. To have coconut milk and almond flour in your pantry.
You're just asking
Very specific
people.
ingredients.
Yeah.
The verdict was asshole. They think she's an asshole for saying, hey, don't bring stuff.
Yeah,
fair.
I get that.
Yeah.
The comments we have here, someone's asking for info. How does your sister react when no one eats her food? If she reacts poorly, tries to push people to try to have seconds, and is generally a sourpuss about it, then I think suggesting that she take control of wine/crisps / non-baked goods is sensible. But if she doesn't comment or make a big deal, then it doesn't really sound like her cooking badly does any harm. No one eats it, she feels like she's contributed, and all it takes is throwing away the food at the end. Minimal hassle for a peaceful holiday that everyone enjoys. Someone else said, rather than throw it away, it would be better to cover the dish and send it home with her. At least it won't be wasted, as she seems to like it. She might also actually realize that nobody else likes it. Someone else said, let her do it. Her bad cooking is a tradition. Just make another vegetable that people will eat. Someone lastly said, a soft, you're the asshole. Just let her bring what she wants. It's not hurting you. You don't have to eat it. It might even be fun to pretend it's the best thing ever and throw some away when she isn't looking to make her feel good. It could be part of the traditional holiday experience. OP responded to that saying, I get that, and maybe I'm overthinking it. It just feels like a small battle I'd rather not have every year, especially when I'm hosting and trying to make sure everyone genuinely enjoys the meal. I mean, I can definitely go with the smile and nod approach for the sake of family peace, but it does feel a little exhausting to pretend every time. I guess I just don't want to encourage her thinking that everyone actually loves it, especially when it's clearly not working. But you're right, it's just food, and maybe I should focus more on making her feel included than on the menu being perfect. I'll try to keep this in mind and relax about it. Something I'm curious about too is if she's asking her not to cook, but a bunch of people are doing the thing where a bunch of people cook and contribute, that would make her feel really bad.
Yeah.
If like, because you were kind of saying like, oh, I'm gonna handle all the cooking.
That's what in the original post, it sounded like that's what she was saying, like, I'm gonna handle the food. Like,
Yeah.
and in that case, if that's what you wanna do, like, still, if she wants to cook something, bring it. Like, but if you're committing to being like, hey, I'm gonna cook everything, like, I'd prefer to handle it all, like, there might be a little bit more of a defense for that, but.
Yeah, I think I feel pretty happy about the way that went down. I think OP, I like it being a soft, you're the asshole.
That's what it's a silly situation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I totally understand her kind of managing, wanting to take control of the whole
Sure.
event. If she's hosting, I can understand it kind of feeling like a reflection on her. She wants to keep everybody happy. I think she's just trying to consider everybody's feelings.
Yeah.
But I think by posting and receiving this feedback, it feels like she was a little bit at ease now and is
Right.
like, you're right, I should relax. She's willing to accept that, and that's good enough for me.
Yeah.
I want to try it, because what if it's like groundbreaking?
The food?
The green bean casserole. What if it's like a generational, like she's a generational talent when it comes to cooking, and OP is.
What if OP and all of everyone at this party has terrible taste?
Terrible taste.
Yeah.
And she's actually the genius
You
who's
guys,
making delicious
That's what
stuff.
I'm saying.
People ridiculed Einstein.
You're right. People murdered Jesus.
Yeah.
I think she could be Christ.
Oh my
You
God.
guys, yeah.
Good point.
We all have to eat this casserole.
Update.
No way, we get an update?
We're gonna know. What do we think is
go.
gonna happen?
They all eat the casserole and die.
Do you think the green bean casserole is poison?
I think she brings the casserole and everyone loves it. And it's the biggest
And OP's
hit.
jealous.
And OP's jealous.
No.
And the sister's like, just, I want it.
Okay, I
want it
bet
to
the
be so
opposite.
good.
I bet the opposite. The sister's gonna cry and she's gonna run out and it's gonna be a terrible holiday. Okay, tell
Okay.
us.
All right, well, things have escalated fast.
Damn it.
Thanks to everyone who offered advice. I tried to compromise, but it's already turning into a whole thing, and Thanksgiving is still a few weeks away. After our last conversation, my sister was being pretty cagey about what she planned to make, so I reached out to my mom, hoping she could help smooth things over. Instead, she got defensive, saying I'm overthinking and that it's just one dish. I told her I wasn't sure it was just one dish anymore, especially after hearing about my sister's grocery haul, including canned oysters and edible glitter.
Fun!
This is so awesome.
Fun, edible glitter.
Oh, glitter oysters.
I have always said the turkey needs to be prettier.
Yeah.
Then my mom let slip that my sister has been hard at work on some creative menu she's planning as her Thanksgiving surprise. Apparently, she's been telling the family group chat, which I wasn't included in, by the way, that I'm being controlling and that she wants to expand everyone's palate with something truly unique. To top it off, my cousin sent me a screenshot from the group chat where my sister said she's bringing not one, but 3 dishes to Thanksgiving now. She's calling them her Thanksgiving trio experience, complete with their own place settings and little menu cards she's designing. I'm officially panicking because I have no idea what she's planning to serve, and from what I've heard, it's not remotely traditional. At this point, half the family thinks I'm overreacting, while the other half is texting me with things like, is she really bringing glittered sweet potatoes? I feel stuck. If I try to control it anymore, I'm the bad guy. But if I don't, Thanksgiving might turn into a tasting event for my sister's avant-garde cooking. So yeah, Thanksgiving is weeks away, and it's already becoming a family spectacle. I don't know whether to brace myself or just preemptively order pizza.
Holy shit.
This is
Yeah, dude.
It's giving second update.
This is so amazing. 3 weeks out, already testing your menu with oysters and glitter. And like this level of pettiness, but like harmless pettiness, almost in the other, like kind pettiness, like being able to like cook for people.
Yeah.
It's so awesome.
But excluding the sister from the group chat is a little nasty.
Oh, yeah.
Because she's hosting, so that's a little dirty, I feel like.
Well, is this a group chat that the sister made and then left her out of?
We don't
or is
know.
this a family group chat that has existed and everyone has left her out of it?
What if this is all a big family prank on OP that they just continue to do?
I really hope it is.
Because
That would be
damn.
literally my nightmare.
We're recording this a little bit before Thanksgiving, so this has not happened yet. We'll probably have updates. By the time this airs, we might comment down below about it.
Please. So
But
OP is somewhere not
I
sleeping.
have to know.
I love oysters. I do not think they belong in Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
Not just oysters, canned oysters. I mean, what she is putting together is diabolical, and I love it.
Yes.
Shrek is going to enjoy this.
Yeah.
I really want to see the menu cards too. I hope that the next update has little images, because that I can get behind.
Oh.
I am excited.
It's so harmless. Like, she isn't doing anything mean to anyone. Like, she's just making food that can just be put away. Like, it's not like she's blowing up Thanksgiving. Like, this is so funny.
But she's like, I understand OP though too, because she's kind of like overstepping where OP is excited to host.
When you're making a whole menu and you're bringing a whole bunch of things, you're making a tasting event, you are kind of taking over someone else's hosting event. But this is a family thing. Families operate very differently, like each family, and so it's kind of more of a family gathering. Yes, it's at her place, but seems like, from what they've described, it's kind of like a big get-together where everyone contributes.
It feels like also that the subject for us feels a little bit smaller, but I'm sure it's also, it sounds like it's taking over OP's life a lot more. If she's getting messages about it from all of her family members, there's this elusive group chat that she doesn't know or isn't a part of that she's hearing about. So I can see in her head that it might feel like this overwhelming, like very daunting thing that's approaching.
Oof.
I might be playing devil's advocate too much, but like this is one of those things where I'd love to hear someone else's perspective of the story, like how they paint the OP, like when they talk about OP.
Yeah. I want to hear from the dad.
Yeah, I want to hear from the dad. I want to hear from
hungry.
everyone. I want it live streamed.
Every single Reddit story we read with family dynamics, I always wish that I could go and just meet this whole family and hear the whole story, because I'm sure my opinion would shift probably 90% of the time.
Yeah.
Because OP is always going to paint themselves to be in the right.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard not to.
Right, right.
Even if they have the best of intentions, because when you're in the wrong, you often have blinders up. or you're kind of unaware of what you're doing that's wrong.
Totally. We're only in on this situation based on the way that OP skews it with their own biases.
This is hilarious, though.
Awesome.
It is really funny.
Littered sweet potato.
I love the name, too, of like, this is my Thanksgiving experience trio.
Yeah.
And this is my famous green bean casserole.
So good,
I am literally going to name all of my dishes this Thanksgiving.
Today's Reddit Stories is brought to you by Factor. This holiday season, give yourself the gift of tasty, no prep, no mess meals with Factor. Whether you like routine or you enjoy mixing things up, Factor has you covered with 35 different delicious meals every week and over 60 additional convenience options you can add to your box, like keto cookies, pressed juices, and smoothies. If you want something really good, you can choose their Gourmet Plus options that have premium proteins and seasonal sides like asparagus, leeks, and broccolini. So good. They've even got truffle butter filet mignon. I mean, come on. How can you say no to that? And with Factor, you can save a lot of time during these dark months, which is really important because we're all busy during this time of the year. I'm a big fan of Factor. I've had so many meals delivered here to the office, and they are so easy to make. So if you're interested, head to factormeals.com/50pitreddit and use code 50pitreddit to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code 50pitreddit at factormeals.com/50pitreddit to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping while your subscription is active. Today's Reddit Stories is also brought to you by ZocDoc. Just because it's December doesn't mean you have to put off your health until the new year. Finding a doctor in your area with your insurance and within your time frame has never been easier thanks to ZocDoc. ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors, choose the right one for your needs, and click to instantly book an appointment. We're talking about in-network appointments with more than 100,000 healthcare providers across every specialty, from mental health to dental health, eye care to skincare, and much more. Plus, ZocDoc appointments happen fast, typically within just 24 to 72 hours of booking. You can even score same-day appointments. I was amazed when I downloaded ZocDoc how simple the app is. I was able to see so quickly all the doctors in my area and when they were available and if they were covered under my insurance. It made it so simple, I couldn't deny booking an appointment finally. So stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/pitreddit to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/pitreddit. ZocDoc.com/pitreddit. Back to the show. Next story. This is a Today I F***ed Up. It's from 7 years ago.
Wow.
Today I f***ed up by catching on fire at a New Year's Eve party. Classic.
Okay.
Classic move. A group of 5 of us arrived at a small party, 10 to 15 people or so, around 9:30 p.m. We seemed to be the last people arriving and everyone was happy to see each other. After the hellos, our group decided to go to the kitchen to get some drinks. Now this kitchen was pretty narrow and there were about 10 of us standing in there waiting to get our drinks. As I stood in my spot right in front of the gas stove, one of the girls complimented my brand new button-up flannel shirt and it seemed like it's going to be a great night. Note, I'm completely sober at this point. Now, apparently someone was making tea on the front burner. I did not realize that someone was making tea on the aforementioned front burner. It all happened so fast. I feel heat on my back as someone yells, "You're on fire!" I pause for a couple seconds as my fire safety knowledge is completely lost in the moment. I cannot take off my shirt as it's a button-up and start rolling on the floor after 15 people shouted at me to do so. After rolling on the hardwood floor for 10 seconds to no avail, someone mentions that there is snow outside. Thanks, Ohio. Luckily, the back door was right there, so I was able to go outside and roll in the snow. The fire was extinguished shortly after. I was probably on fire for a good 20 seconds. I come back inside to a sea of horrified faces, and I'm convinced the damage was not too bad. I was wrong. Shortly after, my roommates drove me to the hospital, and we watched the midnight ball drop together with me laying down on my belly in the ER.
Oh.
A day later, I'm still in the hospital with my 2nd-degree burns. No third. All over my back, and I should be released tomorrow. Oh,
Happy New Year.
that's gotta suck.
God, the intro of that story just reads so funny. Like, I went to a New Year's party, I was so pumped, and everything was so great as I stood in front of the gas stove.
Right. Somebody commented my new
a two-sentence horror.
flannel.
Yeah.
I like to think that he tossed something into a trash can, perfectly nailed it, and someone's like, "Oh, you're on fire," and he's like, "Thanks."
Right. The idea too of like picturing 15 people yelling at you to roll on the ground is so funny too.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, roll
on the ground.
roll.
I also like that someone complimented his brand new flannel shirt right
His
before it.
Yeah.
button up.
Hey, I like your button-up flannel shirt. Like, what other kind of flannel shirts are there?
Right.
My
Right.
non-button-up flannel shirt. Oh, so OP included photos that we're not going to show because they're apparently pretty graphic. He got burned pretty bad.
Is the flannel okay?
No.
I reckon no.
Poor dude. He was on fire for 20 seconds. We're getting reactions from our producers over there. It must be gnarly.
I don't want to see it. I want the flannel.
I want to see.
Flannel.
All right, you're going to get our reactions.
Live reaction. Oh, no.
Oh no!
Oh! Oh, that's gotta suck so bad.
Oh, that sucks
But
really
no
bad.
photos of the flannel.
So he kind of like can't wear a shirt for weeks.
That's really sad.
That's really unlucky.
It's really scary.
Comments, rest in peace, brand new flannel button-up shirt. Someone else said, the question we should be asking is what kind of bastard makes tea on New Year's Eve at 9:30 p.m.?
Yeah, wait a minute, when you're having a party.
So lastly, someone said, as someone who has had third-degree burns, you have my sympathy, friend. Burns are absolutely not a fun experience, and I feel sorry for anyone who has the misfortune of experiencing them. But hey, on the upside, at least now you have a bitchin' story and can laugh about it with your friends in the future. Remember, look hot as you can for New Year's Eve tonight, lads. Johnny, maybe try not to be as hot as you were last year, though, yeah?
Hey, nice.
Good joke.
That
dude.
is gonna be a funny story.
Yeah, that guy's gonna tell that every year.
Oh yeah.
Like, you remember that New Year's Eve?
That
7
New
years
Year's
ago?
was fire.
This New Year's Eve, he is going to tell that story.
Dude.
Yes.
Seventh year in a row, he's telling that story.
Oh man.
Dude, showing up to a New Year's party late, going to the kitchen to get a drink, and immediately getting lit on fire.
That sucks.
That's really sad.
Oh,
Unfortunate.
Man.
well,
Thanks, Ohio.
thanks, Ohio.
Only in Ohio.
It snows elsewhere.
Only in Ohio. That one's for the kids.
Oh, that's a reference?
That one's for the Gen Zers out there, maybe even the Gen Alphas out there.
Wait.
Only in Ohio.
We're the same age, and I don't know that.
That's because you're not on the internet like I am. I think we exist in separate corners.
That was literally bullying.
No, it's not bullying. I'm jealous of you that you don't know what that means.
Do you know what Only in Ohio is?
Yeah,
No, you don't.
I know. Ohio's a meme
Yeah, Ohio's a meme.
because all the worst shit happens in Ohio. I only know the Dark Souls Ohio meme,
Yeah.
or the Elden Ring Ohio meme, but Ohio's just like it's the freaking hellscape.
Ohio.
It's just like, yeah, it's like a picture of like a radioactive, just like wasteland. It's like only in Ohio.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I have seen that.
Yeah, you get it.
Yeah, I got it.
Sorry, my
I get
fault.
it. I actually knew it the
I wasn't
whole
trying
time.
to be exclusionary. Now I feel like an asshole.
You guys have a group chat without me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would just be your messages back and forth, the two of you.
Our next story is another Am I the Asshole? Am I the asshole for giving my mother-in-law a fake copy of my house key and exposing her during Christmas dinner? Let's
Let's
go.
go. That's awesome.
Holy shit.
Exposing her how? Tell us.
I want to preface this by saying that I, a 34-year-old woman, married my husband, who's 37, a year ago. His mom is Snoopy and annoying as
His mom is Snoopy?
Bro.
Whoa,
His
it's perfect
mom
for
is Snoopy. That's
Christmas.
God.
She can't help it. That's just how she is, as my dear in-laws say. My husband and I purchased a new house recently. My mother-in-law kept pushing to get an emergency key. She promised that she would only use it in an emergency, but given the fact that she had an emergency key to our old apartment and walked in on us being intimate twice, my husband didn't think it was a big deal. I just couldn't trust her. I just sent her a fake key after she kept pushing, and she had a smug look on her face after I hand-delivered it to her. Days passed, and during Christmas dinner, my mother-in-law angrily called me out on the fact that I gave her a fake copy of the house key. She shamed me for doing this in front of everyone, but in my defense, I asked her how she found out, and said she found out days ago when she came over at 4 p.m. while my husband and I were out. I reminded her, didn't you promise you wouldn't use it unless there was an emergency? So you tried to get in when there wasn't an emergency, and you broke the promise you made to us. She looked red in the face. The other family started staring, and some even laughed at her for the face she made. She suddenly got up from her seat and rushed into the kitchen where she had a huge meltdown. So loud the next door neighbors must have heard. Literally, I've never heard a 60-year-old woman throw a tantrum like that. Needless to say, dinner was awkward and my husband and his sister were giving me looks. My husband went off on me in the car and said I lied, manipulated, humiliated, and exposed his mom and said he wouldn't have let me get away with it had he known. We had an argument and he is demanding I apologize to his mom for my childish behavior and for ruining Christmas dinner for the whole family.
Uh-uh.
What?
Uh-uh.
Okay.
Okay.
No, man.
No.
That's absurd.
I'm just such a private person. I would not. If someone showed up unannounced and opened my front door, I'm like, you lose your privilege.
No, that is so weird. That just upsets me so much, I feel like, because it's just so overbearing. It's so protective. This couple is in their 30s. They have a whole nother life. There's no reason for you to have an emergency key.
And they be f***ing, and she shows up whenever they be f***ing.
Only in Ohio, I guess.
Ohio. If that happened once, do you know how, like, if I'm him, I'd be like, we're putting up like planks of wood over the front door.
Right.
Dude, I love the delusion to be like at a family dinner being like, hey, guess what my daughter-in-law did? She gave me a fake key so I couldn't break into her house while she's gone. Can you imagine? Like, what?
Yeah.
No, she sucks. And then she threw a huge tantrum.
But somehow
And now the
everybody's
son is
on their
defending-
side?
Well, just the son is defending her.
Okay.
It doesn't sound necessarily like everyone, we don't hear about everyone else. The son is defending.
Which is such a classic case of what we also hear on Reddit stories is like the husband or the boyfriend then like blowing up at his partner for being like against his family.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, dude, like, yes, you still respect your family, but you have now a different partner. This is now your family that you are supposed to prioritize.
Don't you care about your own privacy too?
Right.
I'm like, yeah, you care about your wife, you care about her privacy. Aren't you also pissed this is happening? He's kind of like, he says like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. It's like, she walked in on you guys twice?
Twice.
No.
That sucks.
And it's just like trying to enter your house at will. Like, what is she doing in there? Is she just going to look around and hang out? Like, what?
There's been a lot of stories of parents who want to continuously barge in without even an invitation.
Right. And it reads so clearly as like this insecurity, right? They don't want to let go of their children. They still want to have some sense of control and parenthood. And that's a very real thing, you know? That's definitely something that is a form of grief for parents, but it is frankly inappropriate to exercise it by asking, nay, demanding for a key to your child's home with their partner.
Yeah.
The verdict was not the asshole. Comments, what was possibly the logic to blame you for it? OP says, he blamed me one time for not locking the bedroom door, which is something we never do, and the second time for when she walked in on us making out in the living room. He said intimate stuff should happen in the bedroom just to be extra careful about people walking in, AKA his mom, and saw no issue with her walking around in the apartment like she lived there. One time for not locking the bedroom door?
No.
So not only is she walking into the apartment, she's like walking into the bedroom.
No.
That's so crazy.
I literally hate that. He straight up was like, we can't make out on the couch. We gotta take it all to the bedroom. Get out of here.
If I'm her, I'm setting up Home Alone traps around the place.
Hold on, we gotta lock the bedroom door. What if my mom walks in?
Oh my God, are we in high school?
No, if I'm her, she'll walk in and have a paint can to the face. Literally. That's how it's going, man.
Yeah.
Dude.
You will not take away the couch.
Someone else said, not the asshole. You did expose his mom, and rightfully so. She needed to be exposed. Your husband is out of his mind for enabling and encouraging his mom's demented behavior. Mother-in-law and husband are major assholes. Lastly, someone said, OP, not the asshole at all. The fact that you're dealing with this is utter BS. Your mother-in-law is so out of line for invading your privacy, calling you out in front of everyone, throwing a tantrum. Holy smokes. There are so many red flags here. I really hope she doesn't cause your marriage to suffer. I feel like that's where you're headed. OP said, unfortunately, my husband always thinks that his mom is doing nothing wrong and I'm the crazy overreactor. Despite trying to explain to him, I feel like my voice is never heard.
Oy.
That feels like that's something you gotta work out before you get married to that man.
That really freaking sucks.
Yeah, I don't think I would have married that
Only
man.
in Ohio.
Only in Ohio. That really, really sucks.
Yeah. Now, the idea of being like, hold on, we actually need to lock our bedroom door in case my mom breaks into our apartment and just walks into the bedroom.
Right.
Like, what is she snooping for?
That's kind of, I'm
What
like,
is she
why,
looking for?
Condoms.
why are you going to the bedroom? What was she doing?
What, like,
No, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. It's really unfortunate a lot of the times. Like, I have always been, very jealous of people that get to live in the same city as their family. It has always seemed like a blessing. But when family can be helicoptering like that, it's really a suffering.
He's 37, and she's helicoptering like that.
It's really unfortunate. And the worst part is that he's in support of that. Ugh. It's one thing to, again, be a unit and be like, yeah, we got to take care of my family. Like, they're doing too much, like, let's handle this together. But he kind of being on their side and being okay with that. And I think he said, like, he yelled at her in the car, right? Like, afterward, he, like, let her have it.
Yeah.
Hate that language. Really, really don't like that. And really sad to hear that that's a part of their marriage.
Oh, God. Wow.
Reevaluate.
Yeah, seriously. All right, next up. Am I the asshole for not getting on a flight upon finding out that he put my kids in economy?
Wait.
I'm so excited.
Wait.
So my fiance has 3 kids from his former marriage, whilst I have 2 from my former marriage as well. I quit my job to start focusing on getting my degree. He's become the breadwinner, if you will, although I still contribute with my savings. I also do 80% of childcare and chores. Long story short, he wanted me and my kids to attend Thanksgiving with his family, who are located across the country, and we were supposed to go yesterday, ahead of time to get a rental place. He booked our tickets and everything, but later, before the flight, I found out that he, his kids, and myself were put in first class, whilst my 2 kids, 14 and 10, were put in economy. I was stunned. He acted like it was no big deal and told us it's just a few hours and the kids could just hang in there for a little while. I asked how he could think this was acceptable, and he got mad and said, since he's the one paying for the tickets, then we go by his rules. I immediately turned around and took the kids and made my way out of the airport. He started following us, screaming at me to go back, but I refused and told him that I no longer felt like spending Thanksgiving with his folks after this. My youngest cried because she never flew without me. He went with his kids, me and the kids are home. He has not stopped calling, trying to berate me, and even had his mom text me that I needed to get over myself and stop teaching my kids to be spoiled and entitled. She said that the fact that I was willing to miss Thanksgiving with the family over something so trivial shows my real character and personality and mindset, or lack thereof. I have not replied, but I feel horrible. Am I the asshole? Should I have just let it slide and just went? In case I wasn't clear, me and the kids left our family/hometown so we could go celebrate with his family in his hometown. Oh. My kids weren't too excited about leaving their grandparents for a week or so. Oh.
No, honey.
God.
No.
I find myself so much on this show having to consciously close my mouth. Because so often I'm just sitting here like,
right.
Oh.
That's such a deliberate, conscious decision. Like,
totally.
I kind of don't use this word, like, I try not to use this word, but I'm like, that, it comes across to me kind of, that's abuse. Like, that's treating these kids in such a different way.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that is psychologically, that's going to affect them, and he knows that's going to affect them. He's literally, you might as well tell those kids, hey, you're not as special.
Right.
Like, you're not worth as much.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, what a horrible thing. You're supposed to be all a family.
Exactly.
You kind of have to all be a family. You can't do that.
Right.
It's so manipulative of the husband too, because he knows she's getting her degree. She's still contributing as best she can, but she's not currently the breadwinner.
Right.
And it seems like he's using that to his advantage to punish people for no reason.
I despise so much when relationships are so obviously inequitable. Like, that is a clear case of, you're right, it's vicious to do that to her kids, right? Like, it would be one thing if he was like, all the kids, like, we're gonna set some kind of standard for the children or something like that. But to do only that to her kids, and she said it immediately after, how could you possibly think that that's acceptable?
Right.
What's your reasoning?
And I understand too that for a lot of people, just because they're married, it's not like her kids are his kids, right? Like, that might not be their dynamic. They're 10 and 14. But he loves her, and so him treating her kids that way is actively disrespecting her as well. If I'm her, I'm going, oh, you don't love me. Like, you don't care about me. Like, you don't care. If you don't care about my kids, you don't care about me. I just think this is such a clear sign. And I know the Reddit advice is always like, divorce, but I'm like, this guy clearly.
Also, like, how like, the fact that he just thought that she would be okay with that, you know, like, oh, you're gonna cut, just like, yeah, it's okay, just leave your kids back there. They can deal with it. Like, it's it's so disrespectful and so gross.
And what a line to cross as well, to get your mother involved by being like, hey, can you text my wife and tell her that her character sucks and that her kids are spoiled? Like, deal with it yourself.
And he had not told her this until they were at the airport.
Manipulative.
And and she also said, like, her daughter had never flown separately from her on a flight. So he was gonna do that and then be like, oh, it's no big deal.
And they're old enough to get it. Like,
Exactly.
If
10 and 14, they're like, yeah, he
they're
hates
like,
us.
wow, yeah, that's an asshole move.
And it's probably already difficult for these kids to understand this relationship, which again, like, it's both of the parents have clearly separated. They're now on probably their second marriage. It could be further than that. It's already a difficult thing. And now it's just magnifying that separation and making it that much harder for them to accept this other parent that's entered into their life. Like, he's making zero effort to close that gap.
Right. Verdict was not the asshole. I think it was great of her to stand up to him in that moment, because that sends a signal to her kids, like, hey, like, she's on their side.
They saw that.
She cares about them. That matters. Comments, not the asshole. His kids in first class, your kids in economy. That's a bad sign for the future. Then his response is to berate you and future mother-in-law, calling your kids spoiled and entitled. Even worse. It would not have ended there. I would be done with that relationship. Someone else said, no, you are right and not the asshole. Either all kids fly one way or no dice. If you can afford first class for 4, you can afford first class for 6, or all fly economy if you don't want kids to feel entitled. He has clearly shown where your kids stand, especially over his kids. You may want to rethink marriage to an asshole like that. Lastly, someone said, not the asshole. Your fiance seems to be missing the point. It's not that you expected your kids to be in first class, but that once everyone else was in first class, it was not okay to put them in economy. I would be very worried about how he treats your kids in comparison to his own from now on. My brother's widow is remarried to someone who makes a lot of money. I can assure you that he treats her kids exactly as how he treats his own. The separation is the problem here. I fly economy. Most people fly economy. Economy's fine. If he wanted to treat himself and her to be like, hey, let's ride first class, all the kids can go in economy. That's fine, but don't separate the children. That's also like, that's gonna create a crazy dynamic for those siblings.
Right.
Like, the 3 who get first class, they're gonna know too. And that's gonna make them f***ed up.
It's just such an obvious difference that it's almost like, it's so ridiculous to think that people wouldn't.
It's cartoonishly evil.
Right.
To go on and like actually book those tickets and do that on purpose is really, I can't get into the headspace.
Like, you really think a 10 and 14-year-old kid isn't gonna realize? Or your wife?
Yeah, he's also saying, like, his response was, oh, well, they'll just hang in there. It's fine. I'm like, then why didn't you all fly economy?
You all hang in there.
Save so much money if it's not that big of a deal, man.
I don't understand how anybody could read this situation and be like, well, you know, he's got a point. Like, that it is. It's evil.
Yeah.
It's just like he just obviously does not care about these children and does not care that anyone knows it.
Right. Like, it could be that that's just not computing for him. Like, he's not actually feeling that care and compassion for these kids and thinks it's just like a little thing, which, you know, again, if he is used to booking these first class tickets, it could be a sense of like privilege, right? This lens that's over him that he's maybe not quite calculating, but then the wife calls it out, right? Like, that's your moment to recognize, like, oh, I've done something wrong. Again, like we were referring to with the first story, this is your moment to be like, oh, I f***ed up. It's
hard to go from blatantly making a choice like that to being like, you're right, my behavior is bad.
Yeah.
Like, this is, I think this feels conscious to me.
Right. Like, we don't want to lend that to him because of the behaviors that follow.
This is like, he really thought this out.
Yeah.
Update, What do we think? So they're
divorced?
They're engaged. They're engaged. They're not married.
engaged,
It's
okay.
her fiance.
Okay.
Which means she can a lot more easily get out of this.
Break it off.
Doesn't have to sign a paper.
I think this is a break it off moment.
I think
Yeah.
so. Again, not because of the initial situation, but what followed
His reaction
after.
as well.
All of that was inappropriate.
I'm currently getting myself and the kids packed so that we can stay with my mother. This has happened before in other instances, but I kept thinking to myself, this is not right, but I have invested too much time and effort in this relationship, so maybe this shouldn't get in the way. And I try to minimize most situations where I find my kids being put last. Not only that, but he tried to give me an ultimatum regarding getting my degree, and what was my response? This isn't right. But kept making light of it and letting go. Now he's probably bad-mouthing me to the whole family, and so is his mom, bless her effing heart. The kids and I are leaving. He'll be coming back to an empty home, except he'll find some company with the engagement ring that I took off and left on the nightstand. Distance and some reevaluation is needed right now. Thank you to all who reached out with helpful input and perspectives. You're right, my kids come first, and that's what I keep trying to do, and I hope I won't ever fail. Thank you so much for the support.
Yay!
Let's freaking go.
Can't be
That's
surprised that
awesome.
there was a pattern. Like,
Right.
And she's like, oh, wait, this happens a lot.
But yes, it's disappointing to, like we've said, like continue to revisit these stories where these women are unable to see it for themselves.
Yeah.
But it is wonderful that, at least in the pattern that we've seen today, they are at least able to listen to their gut and be like, hold on, in her words, this isn't right, and be able to remove themselves from that situation.
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I'm so glad she got out of that, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bless her effing heart.
Bless her effing heart. Our last story.
No, you're a Grinch.
But one more for holiday gift after this.
One more for holiday gift. Am I the asshole for telling my brother he cannot stay with me over Christmas if he brings his prosthetic leg?
What? Why?
My younger brother has a prosthetic leg. I think it is creepy AF, and I have no idea where he got it. I'm reasonably certain that it is something I would rather not know. To be clear here, my brother has two perfectly healthy legs. What? Still attached to his body. He just has this thing he takes with him everywhere. I don't know why, I don't want to know.
No.
He wanted to stay with me rather than our parents while he is home for the holidays. I said he was welcome to stay so long as he doesn't bring that thing into my house. He said it wasn't a big deal and that he would leave it in his luggage. I agreed on the condition that if I saw it outside of his luggage in my home, that I had the right to destroy it. He backtracked on staying with me and is at our parents' house, where he is miserable. They still treat him like a little boy instead of a guy who's almost 30. He called me again after supper and asked to please stay with me. I said he could so long as we, together, took his thing and put it into a storage unit until he leaves. I get the key, he won't do it. He says that I'm being a bitch for not letting him stay with me. I think he needs to get therapy or a girlfriend, boyfriend, dog, cat, hamster, something. Just not a goddamn prosthetic leg.
That's so funny.
What the hell?
I want to meet this guy.
What the hell?
I want to meet this guy.
She's like, yeah, you can stay with me for Christmas, but hey, leave your leg. Leave your leg. Why?
Sorry, you're gonna have to stay with mom and dad. And he's just like, you're pulling my leg. Come on.
She's like, leave your third leg at
Leave your
home.
third leg at home. No. Bro, you gotta put that third leg in a storage unit, man.
Oh my God.
That took such a turn.
There's got to be like a spirit attached to, like it's whispering to him. The leg is talking to him. There's something going on.
There's some attachment to the leg that's not physical.
Yeah.
It's one of the limbs from Talk to Me.
Oh my God. That is truly haunting, and I think it's so funny that she's like, leave your leg in the luggage and then you can come.
I fully, man, from the title to what the story actually was, because I thought, here you have this brother showing up with a prosthetic leg, and he's like, you gotta take that off, man.
You gotta take it out. It freaks me out.
You gotta take that off, and you gotta hop around my house.
That's not what God intended.
No, but the leg has a seat at the table.
Dude, that's unbelievable.
Verdict,
That's awesome.
Verdict was not the asshole. Comments I know this is extremely distressing for you, but I'm laughing so hard. At first I was like, is this asshole serious? She won't let her brother bring his leg? Like his whole ass leg he needs to walk around because he literally lost a leg in some horrible accident. But then you clarified both his healthy legs are still attached and I lost it. Not the asshole, but you and I are not the same. I would need to know all of it. Where did you get it? Why do you have it? What do you do with it? Did you steal it off a bum or something? Then I would stare at him uncomfortably until he broke and told it all to me. I may later regret my decision, but I don't often think that far into the future when something catches my attention. Someone else said, I'm a prosthetist, and I have to ask, what does this leg even look like? Below knee or above knee? Does it just have the pylon bear, or is there a foam covering so that it sort of looks like a leg? Is there a foot shell on it, or is the foot component just sort of hanging out? The reason I'm asking is because A, prosthetic anything is mind-bogglingly expensive, and B, you can't just have a prosthetic leg if you have two perfectly healthy legs. You literally need a stump to make one that's specifically yours. Did your brother receive it from someone? Did he steal it? And just to be sure, it's an actual prosthesis and not a leg brace of some kind. I've had patients and their families make that mistake before. OP says, it looks like a carbon fiber cup with a steel knee and lower leg and foot. They respond, oh Jesus, AK prostheses are not cheap. That's an entire car right there. What? I would actually grill your bro on where he got it because it is 100% not his. If he stole it, he's looking at felony/grand theft charges. If he bought it, check his and your parents' financials because again, these things are insanely expensive and he doesn't sound like the brightest bulb. Make sure he does not try to sell the prosthesis or any of its components. I get that they can be hard to get for people who need them the most, but if the components are damaged in any way, they can lead to gnarly injuries for when they inevitably fail. If you truly do want to get rid of it, there are organizations out there that will take old prostheses and refurbish them. Lastly, someone said an emotional support prosthesis leg. That's a new one.
That's so, dude.
It is so funny how people are investigating. Like, I love all
There's always
curiosity.
someone in the comments who's a professional in this field.
Yeah. But that is such a great point. Yeah, is he taking this away from somebody who actually needs it? Like, why?
Maybe you got it at like an estate sale or something.
A garage sale? I'm literally imagining like a full like knee-down leg with like a New Balance shoe like attached to it. That is literally the vision that I have in my head.
I like to think that he was on the street and some random person came up and just gave it to him. It's like, here, take this, and then ran.
Yeah.
Like it's cursed.
I like the idea that it showed up at his doorstep one day, and it's just like, he's just like,
upright?
All right, yeah, upright.
Right. It's like, mine.
Oh my
Okay.
God,
Oh,
it's,
mine?
It's like the Annabelle doll, but it's just a leg.
Oh, just the leg.
It's like dibs.
Update.
Oh, let's go.
We got to, I hope we get some information.
Update on leg.
I didn't realize how much attention this was going to get. Enough that someone informed the woman my brother stole it from, and she was able to figure out what happened. She called the cops and he got arrested.
Oh my God.
He stole it from someone.
He stole someone's prosthetic
stole
leg,
someone's leg?
and was walking around with it like a Viking?
Dude,
what the Holy shit.
It's like a trophy for him.
Why would you do that?
Was it on them when he stole it?
I didn't know your brother was a comic book villain.
That's so
Holy
crazy.
shit.
It's really scary.
Oh my
I guess he was sort of trying to do the thing where he could be the hero that tracked down her leg. Please don't ask me what the was going through his head. The leg was expensive enough that he is facing real criminal charges. That's all. Sorry, there is not more to tell.
What do you mean? What?
That person was right. This could be felony/grand theft charges. These things are worth like over $15K, I guess.
Okay, but was King gonna sell it? Or like, why did he?
OP was saying that he was gonna try to like play the hero and bring it back to her and be like, oh, I found it. I knew it was yours.
I found
Was this like
this
a
leg.
romantic ploy? Like he stole this woman's leg and then he's gonna show up and be like send it like I found your leg.
Classic
like,
Christmas movie.
Oh my God.
Her brother is one of the characters from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Literally.
This is a horrible person.
I know how to get the girl.
A horrible person who's also really stupid. Which is funny, but they're still a bad person.
Very damaging.
Yeah, they're a full criminal now.
I think we should hear him out. That's
How did he
absurd.
steal this?
Yeah, like
Oh my God.
When did he get the opportunity to steal it?
And why has he just been holding on to it for so long?
You know who's aware of this? You know who saw this? Santa.
Santa saw.
Santa saw this. This guy's on the naughty list for a long time.
Well, Santa didn't do anything about it. He's been carrying this leg around.
Well, it's not Christmas yet. He was going to give her another leg.
Okay, so Santa just hides.
Like a candy cane leg.
No, Santa was a bystander here.
Santa, you fucking watched.
Yeah,
You
Santa.
Well, this poor woman lost her leg.
Oh my God, bro.
That's crazy.
I feel so bad for the lady who lost her. You already lose a leg, and then you get another leg,
And then you lose that
one.
one.
Gets stolen. I'd be so pissed.
She like turned around and she was like, damn it.
If I'm her, I'm the joke. I'm becoming the Joker. I'm full on the Joker.
She's like, I'm not meant to have a leg.
I'm like this. I'm replacing it with a gun now.
Like
my
Bayonetta.
My next leg is a shotgun.
That is crazy.
Try to steal it.
And this post went so viral that someone was like, hey, I heard you were missing a leg.
Someone was like, hey, I was on Reddit, and
Wait a minute.
I know your leg is missing.
I
think we
found it.
I had a buddy.
Oh my
I found
God.
it. Some random guy's been taking it to Christmas.
He's traveling with the leg. He's not just leaving it at home, like under his bed. He's like, man, I gotta take this with me.
He's taking it on a walk.
I gotta take it. And he's taking it with him so often that his family knows. That is like, no, you can't bring the leg this time. You can't bring it.
Leave
Somehow
the
to
leg.
me, like if he goes to prison for this, which maybe it won't be prison, maybe it'll just be like a massive like fine, I don't know. But him in prison, something about this, I feel like despite even if he was like talking, like hanging out with a murderer, they'd be like, so what are you in for? And he's like, I stole someone's prosthetic leg. Even the murderer would be like, the fuck is wrong with you?
Right, right. He's like, dude,
so
that's
mean.
uncool. It's actually
Really
pretty unlawful.
uncool, man.
Dude, does Santa know?
I killed a man, but that's really uncool. That's just like comic book villain. You can never live that down. There's no explanation for it.
is awful.
Like there's zero justification.
No, he's
Like,
got no legs to stand
You
up.
are full on a villain forever. Oh, well, I'm so glad that he was tracked down and she got her leg back, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Yeah.
That's what's important is she got her leg back.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. That's some privilege talking right there.
Awesome.
Maybe if they can get a lawsuit going, she can have that leg plated gold now.
That would be awesome.
Be pretty cool.
I bet Santa will make that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Santa would. I
Santa,
know.
if you're real, show yourself.
Come on, Santa. Come
Come on.
Anyways, thank you both for being here. These were some crazy stories.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Hey,
Thanks for
happy
having us.
holidays.
Happy holidays.
Hey.
Should we get a Christmas card?
Hey, the real gift was being here with the two of you.
Aww.
Oh,
With
Trevor.
your boot.
And my boot.
And your boot. I'm gonna steal that.
Oh my God.
Give that to me.
I just looked behind the guy, my crutches are gone. Like, what?
It starts with the crutches.
Thank you for watching. Let us know what other themes and subreddits you'd like to see on this show, and we'll see you next week.
Ho, ho, ho.
Ho, ho, ho! Cheers, not running on an open fire.